Hey there, welcome back. It's time once again for the 31 Days of Halloween. I am going to watch 31 horror movies over the month of October, leading up into one of my favorites at the end of it all on Halloween. And welcome. I love movies, and if you love movies as much as I do, you're tuning into the right place at the right time. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. Um, and I do look at things up on the wiki a lot. Why not? It's there. And tonight we're doing Scanners by David Cronenberg, a 1981 movie I watched a lot growing up. This was like late night cable TV fare. And about the time I was about 10, 11 years old, this was like making the rounds. And I've seen this and Videodrome. We'll be doing Videodrome tomorrow. This was made in 1981, and Videodrome was made in 1983. And David Cronenberg is this master of body horror. So I bought this. This is the Criterion version. For anyone to know, Criterion is one of the leading purveyors of quality DVDs and Blu-rays. I mean, with CRISPR transfers, and for me personally, documentary tracks and commentary tracks and makings of and special features. This is it's a 2-disc series. And it's got great liner notes. Sometimes they have like, you can just get lost reading about this stuff. And, the design, and look at that. That's Michael Ironsides. Michael Ironside is this very famous Canadian actor of the 80s, known for his tough guy roles. And so I have a big soft spot in my heart for Michael Ironsides. This was an interesting movie. Cronenberg's known for body horror, having these great special effects. We're about to see one right here, and it's interesting because this is how the movie literally opens. So we see this within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and we see that guy's head explode. Okay, so that's what they also call the money shot. This is a show. We're going to be showing this over and over again in the previews and in the commercials. And so I was always thinking like, oh wow, Scanners. It's a body horror movie. It's more of a psychological thriller, with psychokinesis, and then there are just nothing but practical effects and stunts and bloodshot, gunshot squibs, and wire work to pull people back and through things, and explosives. And then at the very end, there's the climax scene between the good guy and the bad guy, and they both have the psychic powers, and you have these really awesome, gross effects of like they're trying to like use their psychic powers on each other, and these huge veins pop up on the sides of their faces and down their arms, and they're squirting blood and everything. The guy's eyes explode. It's gross. It's grotesque. It's over the top. It's wonderful for this time of year. It's wonderful Halloween movie. It's creepy, and it's but Cronenberg is a master at storytelling. He's a really good movie director, and I'm just gonna rattle off just a few of the movies that he's done. His most recently was a remake of something he did in 1970. It's called Crimes of the Future, and it's got this huge cast. He did like 1969 a movie called Stereo, 1970 Crimes of the Future, but there's one called The Brood, and that was in 1979, and that kind of put him on the map. And then came Scanners, and that was like these are a few of his like major big releases, because then in 1983 came Videodrome, which is just, we'll get into that tomorrow. Videodrome is it's and to been alive in the early 80s and cognizant of style. Um, what cars look like, what the fashion looked like, how people talked, what people looked like, haircuts, things just, this is very nostalgic for me. And it's because it's made to be contemporary. It's not a period piece, it's made to be a contemporary piece, of its own time. And so is Videodrome. Videodrome is a very new wave kind of movie. And he also did The Dead Zone, a Stephen King adaptation. In 1986, he did the remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. He did Dead Ringers in 1988 with Peter. Oh no, that's Naked Lunch. Dead Ringers had Jeremy Irons as twin gynecologists. Yeah, they're both. It was a weird movie. Oh god, Dead Ringers was such a weird movie. He did in 1996 Crash, and also he did one of my favorite movies, 2005's A History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen, Ed Harris, and it was and Anthony Hurt. That movie is just an amazing movie. It's William Hurt. Sorry, William. I was thinking John Hurt, and I didn't know it's William Hurt. He just passed recently too, but David Cronenberg is this really prolific director, and so this is like when he came into his own in the early 1980s, and this was the first movie he did before Videodrome, and then Videodrome is we're gonna see Videodrome. It's grotesque and it's horrible, but it's so prescient about worshiping the television and being kind of tribal with your TV tastes and how your culture is now is a pervasive part of your life. And so it's a lot of visual metaphor in Videodrome. We'll get to that tomorrow. But Scanners wasn't great. It's just, it's got a really decent cast. It's got Jennifer O'Neill. And she was this beautiful model actress of the 70s and 80s. And I'm just like, wow. Very beautiful. She was like in her early 30s when they shot this. And also Patrick McGoohan, who was the prisoner in the 1967 TV show, the BBC's The Prisoner. It was at ITV. I can't, either or. Sorry, I'm a Yank. But Patrick McGoohan's a huge actor. I love Patrick McGoohan, and like one of his last roles, he was in Braveheart. He was William Longshanks, the King of England, who threw his son's lover out the window. Remember that guy? Yeah. But also, Patrick McGoohan. This movie was, but it's really decent. It's not a great, like I said, it's not great. But you know what? It was very watchable. But it has the charm of the old movie. So it's slow moving, and it builds tension, and it's more of a chase movie. And it's just there were two scenes with extreme grotesque gore, and it was in the beginning of Act 1 and at the end of Act 3. So it qualifies in the 31 days, but I kind of wish I maybe had done a Friday the 13th movie or something, a bit more like horror movie. This is more of a it's a stereotypical chase thriller that were thrown in with some psychic powers and two really good special effects shots at the beginning and the end, and there were really good stunts and squibs through the entire movie and good practical stunts, and that's what drove this movie, was just the calamity that these, and camera work too, and the music. Okay, the music was done by Howard Shore. He won an Oscar for little movies called The Lord of the Rings by Peter Jackson. That Howard Shore is a huge movie music guy. He has done so many things. He does Videodrome as well, and this like early 80s stuff. when they're like, him and Cronenberg are in their early 30s, in the early 80s. And so it's got this, Howard Shore, he was the musical director of Saturday Night Live. And he's the one that wrote the original theme music to the show. He was the musical director from 1975 to 1980. This guy is just got, Howard Shore did the music for this. And the music really pulls this together. It's atmospheric. It's electronic. It kind of reminds me of Wendy Carlos in a way in the Tron soundtrack, because it's supposed to be, about the encroachment of technology in human life. And there's also things about, getting jabs. There's a jab metaphor in there too that has been that can only be discovered now in our current time. And so yeah, here I go. I've been going on about this movie for over 10 minutes now. I hope you catch it. It's Scanners by David Cronenberg from 1981, and that's tonight's movie on the 31 Days of Halloween. It's our horror movie. It wasn't horrible, but it was a pretty decent psychological thriller thrown in with some really graphic, grotesque special effects scenes that, it just barely made it as a horror movie, in my humble opinion. Yeah. But thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. We're going to be doing this all month. We're going to be coming up on a chunk of vampire movies. Actually, I grew up with vampire stories, vampire books, vampire movies, and I know a thing or two about vampires. We're going into the deep end of the pool with vampires this very month, coming up just in a couple of days. Tune in tomorrow. We're doing Videodrome, David Cronenberg's follow-up to this very movie with the same kind of visual feel, but he just improves. There's more horror in Videodrome. There's a hell of a lot more. And great cast in that too. Looking forward to sharing that with you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We talk about comic books every day. We talk about cooking, spirituality, and purpose. I will point out planets in the naked eye sky. Hey, look, that's the planet Jupiter. I love doing that too. Cheers. We will see you again. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.